What's up, boys and girls? Ken with Cerberus USA here, and in today's video we're talking about back strength, back training specifically for strongman. So without further ado, hit the music. Okay, so like I said, we are talking about back training specifically when it comes to training for strongman, implementation that we're going to have, or implementing exercises that we're going to have the most carryover for strongman training, competition, all that good stuff. So when we think about back training for strongman, we need to think about two specific things. One is going to be basically like picks, sandbag picks, stone picks, all that sort of stuff. And then the other one is going to be scapular retraction, specifically for stabilizing under things like yokes, holding a log in the rack, axle in the rack, all that sort of stuff. So the way I sort of like to think about it, and the way I break it down, is that I do something that is like elbows in, elbows back. Let me see, you can get me here. So elbow, like actually pulling, so rowing, and then stuff that's actually going to be specifically for scapular retraction, stuff like narrow grip pull downs, reverse pull downs, that sort of stuff. So that's what I use to make up the majority of my back training when I'm actually trying to have carryover to the sport. So let's just start going over exercises. Okay, so exercise number one is going to be a barbell row. In this case, you see me using the Swiss bar, the multi-grip bar. That way I can actually row with a neutral grip. The reason I pick that is because in strongman, you very rarely are going to be picking anything up with a double overhand pronated grip or a double overhand supinated grip. It's typically going to be that neutral grip. So if it's a sandbag, a stone, a keg, an anvil, whatever it may be, you're typically going to have that neutral grip. So the way I view things is may as well do that in training too. As you see here, I'm doing a lot more of a strict row here. That's because I'm actually trying to get muscle activation versus just ripping it off the ground for, speed. I'm not planning to compete, so that's why I want to get this activation in my back. When I do compete, and when I was training for competition, I would do more a pendlay row like you see here. That way I actually get the sort of aggressive pull off the floor, which you see typically more if you're trying to pick a sandbag up quickly. And the way how I pick a sandbag is I pick it and I almost like reposition before I go to full extension. So I pick and like snatch it almost, and that having this explosive pick off or explosive pull off the floor helps me with that pick and that transition. Number two for me in my repertoire is going to be a dumbbell row. I actually like using the decline bench. That way I can actually just position myself differently. This is going to be sort of for stuff like one arm row, arm over arm stuff, and just having unilateral motion is really good for the sport. Typically we don't pick anything up that is just completely uniform. I've got a keg that, a 300-pound keg in the gym where all the lead is sunk to the bottom. So when I pick, I have to row harder with one arm. So that's why I like doing the unilateral stuff. Plus, it just helps you move better. Like you have that anti-rotation and stuff like that you're having to implement in there. So for me, that actually really benefits my core training at the same time as hitting upper back. Number three in my plan for upper back training for strongman is going to be the reverse narrow grip pull down. And the reason I like reverse pull downs is because you can't just you're not stuck in the machine. So then you have to actually really focus on the scapular retraction and really engaging the muscles in your back to actually complete the movement. Whereas something is, if you're facing forward, you don't have, or you have that pad to stop you pulling out the seat, so you can go heavier. You're not as you can be not as strict, all that sort of stuff. But actually, because we're trying to train the scapular retraction and train the stability of our upper back for under a yoke, in a log, whatever it may be, That's why I like having something where we have to be a lot more cognizant of our motion. Number 4, just to round it out, super simple, pairings of exercises. I'm all about face pulls. I really love the way the face pull hits my upper back, be it if I'm pulling to my forehead or pulling to my chin, my mouth, that sort of area. It just changes the way you activate things. So for me, when I'm pulling to my chin, I'm pulling much more straight line motion. Arms don't move, or the hands don't really come out of one plane, whereas if I'm pulling to my forehead, I pull back and then I flare my hands up, and that way you get a bit of external rotation throughout the motion too. So that's my 4 main movements for this. Obviously during the years there's been other stuff in there. These are the 4 which I think actually really benefit and really carry over the most to strongman. Even just stuff like doing static holds, band pull aparts for warm-ups, all that sort of stuff. You basically want to really try and find a way for you. Now these are my 4 exercises. They might not be the 4 exercises for you, but you want something which is going to be like a rowing to like elbows back to pull everything in, like you're picking up a sandbag, and then you want something which is going to focus on actual stabilization and locking your upper back down. That's why I have the scapular retraction stuff in there. Hopefully this has been informational or educational, whatever word you want to use. And until the next time, see you down the road.